Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from ZurGrinoSports here, and today I'm coming at you with the April 2nd, 2021 edition of Smackdown review. Quickly, before we get into the review, let me know what you guys thought of Smackdown down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And all that shit. If you want to join the Discord server for the channel, you can do so. Link in the description. Twitter's in the description as well. And at the end of the review, if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe and all that shit. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So, we started off with a little recap of last week and then an Edge promo where Edge says that what happened last week, wasn't necessary, or maybe it was. Maybe it was inevitable that I would have to, go through, a road stop or a roadkill or whatever. I think he said roadkill at some point. Which is what Daniel Bryan is, and he meant what he said to Bryan all those weeks ago about how seeing Bryan return to wrestling, inspired him to come back and gave him drive, and at one point he was excited to team with Bryan at Fastlane, but that wasn't good enough for Daniel Bryan. And he was so focused on Roman Reigns that he didn't notice Bryan kind of, making his moves or whatever, and of all the people who should have seen something coming, who should have seen scheming coming, an opportunist coming, it should have been Edge, so that was his fault. Then he kind of mockingly talks about Bryan's suggestions last week, where Bryan's like, yo, give me the winner right after. Yo, how about night one they fight and then night 1 too? He's like, oh wow, that's very brave, that's very courageous. And it's like, you do know Bryan was being facetious last week, right, Edge? But okay, whatever. I think facetious is the word I'm looking for. Anyways, then Edge says, and you know what? I realize that I got outplayed. And you might think I'm mad, and I am, yes, but, I have to give my thanks to Bryan because he gave me time to reflect. And I looked in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, I liked what I saw. When I looked in the mirror, I saw the rated R superstar. Adam Pearce, Roman Reigns, and Bryan all don't understand the ramifications. And did I snap? You're damn right I did. I finally woke the hell up after the match was made and stuff like that. I'm a man that Roman Reigns aspires to be. I'm a man that Bryan aspires to be. I'm a Hall of Fame legend, the ultimate opportunist. And finally, once again, I am the rated R superstar. Last week, feeling the chair in my hands, crushing against your skin or whatever the fuck he said. He said something about like hitting him with the chair, how it felt so good. And he was this close to getting a concerto. He had them both and he was this close. And it's going to happen again. And when it does, he won't hesitate. And that's the promo. So full heel Edge in that promo. So absolutely the right call. Babyface Edge has always kind of, at least tail end of his career, babyface Edge has always kind of fallen a little bit flat for me. I don't know about early career because, I started watching in late 03/early 04. Late 03, early 04, I think he was out with injury, and then he would have come back into the Intercontinental title scene, after I had started watching. I think he was a babyface at that point, or maybe he was a heel, because I have a memory of him, like, winning the title or defending the title on Raw by rolling somebody up and putting his feet on the ropes. I have a memory of that from, like, 2004, so, and maybe he was a heel when he came back, but for me, he's a fantastic heel, and he's kind of fallen flat as a singles babyface for me. His babyface stuff with Edge and Christian, I think, was good. You know what I mean? Granted, I didn't watch it live. It's just like clips and stuff that I've seen throughout history. So maybe they weren't babyface. Maybe they were heels the whole time. I actually don't know. And maybe their stuff was just really funny, so I think they were babyface. I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is I like them going full heel with Edge. I like psychotic Edge. I like, off the rails Edge. I like pulling his hair out Edge. I like, fucking being so fucking pissed and like off the rails that his face turns red and his veins are popping out of his forehead and stuff. That's the Edge I like to see because I think he does it so goddamn well. And that's pretty much how we're going with Edge, it seems. So yeah, the promo was good. Edge is one of those guys. I've had some problems with his promos in the overall build to this, because while he was still portraying a babyface, he was like, yo, why does somebody get to jump the line? Nobody's jumping the line. You still get your shot. Shut the fuck up, right? I made those criticisms in all my reviews before, and I stand by them, of course. The thing with Edge, though, is when he gets a good promo in, it's such a good promo, because Edge is one of those guys who can pick the exact right word that you need in a promo to take it to the next level. And he does it on a fairly consistent basis, if it's not like kind of forced for him to do something that doesn't make sense. Because I guarantee you Edge didn't come in and was like, yo, as a babyface, make me complain that somebody gets a title shot at the pay-per-view before mine as if I'm losing my shot. Yeah, that's good. Like, that's obviously a, creative call. And he had to kind of like make the best of it or whatever. But like in a promo like this, he picks all the right words, and it's just, it was good, so I liked it. I had to take a shit after this. I don't know if I missed much. If I did, it would have been like a quick backstage segment, but when I came back from my shit, Alpha Academy were in the ring, and there was a pre-match promo from the Dirty Dogs playing. So I think all I missed was Alpha Academy making their entrance in their pre-match promo. Then we had the Dirty Dogs cutting their pre-match promo as they made their entrance, then the Mysterios, then the Profits, and then we had the Profits and the Mysterios versus the Dirty Dogs and the Alpha Academy, which we already had like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something like that. So whatever. They're doing like really basic / lazy booking, you know what I mean? And like sometimes honestly going like with the absolute basic booking in terms of just do matches and stuff until we figure something out, it's better than not being featured on the card. So I mean, I'm not gonna go too hard on that, but it's also another instance this month and this couple months in this Mania build of can they coexist in a way? So yeah, man, I didn't get to see the Alpha's pre-match promo, so I don't know if maybe they explained why Otis would be happy teaming with Dolph or not. If they did, fair play. If not, just fucking have Gable explain it, because it really doesn't make sense when they feuded for like 6 months or whatever they did over Mandy, then they had a blow-off match at Mania, and then now a year later they're like, oh, buddy, just because one of them turned heel, right? So just a little thing there. The funny thing about this is the entrances took so long that they had a commercial break like a minute into the match. So that was kind of funny. The match itself, quality-wise, was good. I mean, everybody in there is good. So you know what I mean? The tag teams have good chemistry and stuff like that. And yeah, they got okay-ish time for a Smackdown. Obviously, WWE made that announcement that the Andre Battle Royal and a four corners, not four corners, but a Fatal 4-Way tag match for the titles is next week on SmackDown, which I dislike very much that they're putting it on SmackDown, because there's no fans at SmackDown. So if they do the Rey and Dominic winning the tag titles thing, they don't get a fan reaction for it, which stinks, which makes me think maybe somebody else is going to win them first, and then they're going to, you know what I mean? But like, why not just put that match on Mania, man? You have 2 fucking nights, brother. You've got 2 fucking nights of Mania. Just fucking, the armbar is always quick. Throw that on there. And then the tag match, just give them like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 12 minutes. You know what I mean? Just give them time to just fucking figure out whatever they want. Like, because if they do put the titles on Rey and Dominic without fans, that's just such a shitty thing, man. And also, you have to take into consideration whether or not they get Mania pay or not, right? Because you know, you get higher pay for being on Mania, so you know what I mean. But yeah, man. Yeah, so the match quality was fine for the length that they were allotted. The match ended after Gable did a German supla bebe to Montez Ford, and then Otis did the splash from the second rope onto Montez for the win, so they are not winning the tag titles next week. You know, WWE booking, if you look strong on the go home, they're probably going to take the pin next week, honestly, because they won this week. 50-50 go home booking, baby. Let's get it. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy that Alpha Academy got a win. A lot, like, I still am upset at WWE for breaking up Heavy Machinery because they were a good tag team. The one benefit that you could argue is that them breaking up Heavy Machinery inadvertently got Gable more TV time. So low key, it was kind of worth it in the end. You know what I mean? If they capitalize on it. If they can propel Gable into an upper mid-card / main event level singles push out of Alpha Academy, fuck Tucker, brother. I'm sorry, Tucker. I feel sorry for you, but fuck Tucker. Gable, I'm on the Gable hype train, brother. I've been on the Gable hype train since fucking NXT. I fucking love Chad Gable. He is literally Kurt Angle 2.0, and I'm just waiting for them to finally realize it and capitalize on it. Maybe the thing that needs to change is Vince stepping back and Paul. I was almost going to say Paul London. Big old Paul Levesque, Mr. Triple H there, taking over. Maybe he'll see the talent and the Kurt Angle 2.0-ness in Gable. But so like there's a silver lining to the Heavy Machinery breakup because Gable is getting significant ring and promo time, which is fantastic because Gable himself is fantastic. So yeah, man, no problems with that segment there. Well, I mean, them being kind of lazy and being this, 8-man tag again, and not explaining why Dolph and Otis would team. Put that aside. The rest of it I'm okay with. Then we had a backstage thing with Heyman and Pierce and Sonya, where Heyman says that Roman asked him to come by to them for a small legality, which is a hold harmless clause, so they can't hold Jay accountable for what he does to Bryan. Pierce starts to say something, but Sonya interrupts and says, "You know what? I think you made a very good point, Mr. Heyman." And then Heyman's like, "Thanks," and then he walks away. So this is maybe the second or third time they've done this with Sonya, where like she kind of agrees with a heel and speaks over Pierce to do it. So I think they're slowly building to her, being heel again, because technically when she came back, she was like, yo, me and Mandy, we got into it. I did some things, but like, I'm changed. I'm ready to be here. You know what I mean? So like she kind of turned face-ish. But I mean, like, they've had her do this a couple times. So I feel like maybe she will kind of usurp, Pierce eventually on SmackDown, at least. Then we had a Rollins and Cesaro interview conducted by Corey Graves in the ring. He talks about how Seth's really good at Mania, and Seth's like, Mr. WrestleMania. He's like, yeah, okay. And Cesaro, and then Seth cuts him off. He's like, wait, you're starting with him? Okay, fine, go ahead. You should start with me, but okay, fine. And then Graves asks Cesaro, it's your first singles match at WrestleMania, or is there any pressure or whatever? And then Cesaro's like, it's the biggest match of my career, Seth said that, he's brought up a lot of shortcomings that I've had, and you know what? Most of it is true. But, at Mania, it's different. I can't fail, blah, blah, blah. He's putting over how important this match is and how failure is not an option. And then he does a little swing is in the air meme. Something's in the air, swing is in the air. And then Graves asked a question about Seth being swung and embarrassed and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to, get the hot mic question and stuff. Listen, you guys can't shake me. It's Mania season. And this time of year, I'm unshakable. And then he lists all his Mania moments. He's like, when you talk about Hogan and Andre, you got to talk about me and Triple H. When you say Rock and Austin, ooh, baby, another match I've had at WrestleMania. This and that, this and that. And then, Graves asks Cesaro if he can defeat Seth. Cesaro says, I know I can defeat Seth. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I know I can embarrass him. And then Seth's like, no, you can't embarrass me. Guys, I'm unshakable. And then Cesaro's like, okay, I mean, you're not unswingable. And then Seth kind of snaps at those kind of comments and dismisses Graves. He's like, get out of here. And then he starts, shit talking Cesaro. And he's like, listen, there's levels to this. You are down here. I am up here. What the fuck did I write here? What the fuck did I can't even read my own writing. He says that he's going to embarrass Cesaro at WrestleMania. I really don't know what I wrote there. Whatever. He says he's going to embarrass Cesaro at Mania so badly that he won't even have his potential to fall back on. And that, you know what, he's not even going to let him make it to Mania. He's going to do it right now. And then he gets in Cesaro's face, and Cesaro says, take a swing. And then Seth kind of backs down from the situation. So we've got that. So basically, this is the go home, because technically SmackDown next week is the Mania pre-show. Obviously, the reasoning why they're doing the Mania stuff on SmackDown is because they want the first entrance in front of fans to be a big deal, so they don't want to give it to a throwaway match. Granted, the solution to that is don't open the show with a useless match. Open the show with a headlining match. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, on night one, you have Bianca and Sasha, and you have Lashley and Drew McIntyre. Okay, that was awful. I apologize to all Scottish viewers and non-Scottish viewers and everybody who had to listen to that. But yeah, Lashley and Drew are on night one. Sasha and Bianca are on night one. I want Sasha and Bianca to main event night one. The build has been shit for it, so maybe they won't main event. But whichever one they decide to main event, have the other one open the show. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Drew's going to win, so boom, babyface pop to start off the show. Drew gets the first entrance to get a pop. You know what I mean? Because champions come out last. I swear to fuck. It's one of my biggest pet peeves when champions come out first, and the WWE does it all the fucking time, and it pisses me off every time. And, you know what I mean? Or, boom, Bianca is the first entrance. People like Bianca. You know what I mean? And then just in the second match, have the armbar. Wow, what a novel concept that you don't have to open the show with the armbar. Dude, who would have fucking thought, brother? But whatever. So yeah, man, I mean, the promo is fine. It advances the feud. It sets up the Mania match, cause I doubt they're going to build to it next week. Cause again, next week is the armbar. It's the tag title match. And they announced a, Bryan, Edge, and Roman, like, talking segment or something. I feel like that might be the whole show. They might give the armbar a lot of time. They might give the tag titles a lot of time. So, this is effectively the go home for Mania, I think. So yeah, man. Cesaro is good. I liked his part of the promo. I liked Seth's part of the promo. I really like this version of Seth, man. I really like this version of Seth, this like annoying ass piece of shit Seth. You know, it's just very enjoyable. Seth dripping Rollins once again, by the way. He comes out with these like fucking ridiculous suits every week, and they're fire just because of how ridiculous and absurd they are. I love it. I love this gimmick. And it's weird because he's not going like full Messiah. He's not like, oh, embrace the vision like fully. You know what I mean? So I guess it might be different from what he was doing at the beginning of the pandemic. Again, I wasn't watching at the beginning of the pandemic, so I don't know. But if you were, you know, I'm not sure if it is a little bit different, you know, if he modified it a bit. I know he has a different theme. He went back to his Burn It Down theme because I think he had like a more angelic theme for the Messiah gimmick. So I don't know. I'm liking this Seth. I'm liking Cesaro getting a spotlight match against Seth. I'm happy that Cesaro's finally getting a singles match at Mania, and I think it's a fucking travesty that he had to wait until 2021 to get a singles match at Mania, despite being with the company since like what, 2013, 2012 maybe. Nearly 10 years at the fucking company, and Cesaro is getting his first singles match 9 years into his run with the company. Cesaro, who is one of the fucking absolute best in the world, has had to wait 9 fucking goddamn years to get a singles match at Mania. World Wrestling Entertainment, run by Vincent Kennedy McMahon, dude. But anyways, yeah. Hopefully they do the right thing and give Cesaro the win clean at Mania. That's what needs to happen. So hopefully we'll see if that's what they lead to. But yeah, I like this segment. Nia and Shayna were walking backstage by Carmella. Reggie pulls Nia aside for a second, whispers something in her ear. She walks to Carmella and says, "Oh, you didn't treat my guy very well, did you?" And then they walk off, and it was a commercial. So, pointless throwaway segment. Actually, you know what? Maybe not, because we'll get to it in a second. Then when we come back, we have Shayna versus Natalya with Tamina in her corner. Nia's on commentary, and Reggie is vibing, holding the title beside Nia. Oh, man. Ooh, this was bad. Natalia and Shayna went into like one of those, roll up 1-2, reverse it onto your roll up 1-2, reverse it back 1-2-3. Natty beat Shayna Baszler with a roll up reversal in like 2 minutes. Then Nia attacks after. Then her and Shayna attack Tamina and stuff. Then Carmella was watching backstage. Then the Riot Squad get involved. And then Mandy and Dana get involved. And then Lana and Naomi get involved. And then Tamina and Natty stand tall. We go backstage to Carmella, who is approached by Billie Kay. She shoos away Billie Kay initially. Then she's like, wait, bring it back. Billie gives her, she was like really sad. And then she's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then, I don't know what the fuck that was there. I wasn't even trying to do an accent, but I think I accidentally tried to do an accent, but it wasn't a good attempt at all. She was like, oh fuck yeah, here's my resume. So I think Carmella had mentioned recently, maybe on Twitter or something, that she wanted to team with Bayley or Billie Kay. So maybe this is finally something for Billie Kay to do, because she hasn't been on since they were doing that weird stuff with the Riot Squad, which got nobody over. So you know what I mean? But whatever. I mean, well, Billie got herself over just by being fantastic, but I mean, like, it did nothing for the Riot Squad. So that's unfortunate, because Riot Squad is fantastic. Yeah, I hated this segment, man. I hated this segment. Why? So there's so many things wrong with it, right? Shayna getting a roll-up loss in 2 minutes for no fucking reason, trash. Shayna, a Raw superstar, wrestling a singles match on SmackDown, trash, because guess what? The tag titles go division to brand to brand. The division isn't interpromotional. The women's tag division as a whole isn't on both brands. The titles, therefore, the champions are on both brands. But guess what? For title matches, not for singles matches randomly because you're trying to fill a show that you don't have ideas for. Like, why is Shayna having a singles match with Natalia randomly? You know what I mean? Why? Why? And then Riot Squad getting involved, cool. Yeah, they probably want to do, like maybe a gauntlet tag thing at Mania for the women's tag titles. I don't fucking know. If the women's tag... my guy, listen. If the women's tag titles are on the WrestleMania card, like night 1 and 2, and the fucking SmackDown tag titles have to be on SmackDown, I'm going to be fucking upset. I'm going to be upset, okay? Because Alpha Academy, Gable's great. The Dirty Dogs, both are great. The Mysterios, great story if they win in front of fans. And, they're great. Ray's a fucking all-time legend, and Dominic is very good for the amount of experience he has, and he's only going to get better. And he seems very humble. He seems very driven. I have no doubts that guy's going to make good on his potential, which he has a lot of. And then the Prophets are great. So why would you make them be on TV? And this is just my speculation, right? I don't know if they will do this at Mania, the women's tag titles. But why would you put a tag division that you've been putting time and effort into recently and building the teams up a little bit? Why would you put them on the TV if you're going to turn around and put a set of tag titles that is essentially worthless now that NXT fucking made their own? Why would their fucking absolute abomination, abysmal book division that barely exists because they won't fucking put the effort into booking it? They've got talented people in the fucking women's division, man, but you wouldn't think that with how they book the fucking thing because they're fucking retarded or something. If they put the women's tag titles on Mania, but the SmackDown tag titles are not, I'm going to be very upset. But that's what they have to be doing if they have all the tag teams, because guess what? After the Riot Squad, who are on SmackDown, by the way, so it made sense, Mandy and Dana are there. Why would so you might think it makes sense because it's like, oh shit, all the tag teams are out there, let's go. Mandy and Dana shouldn't be at SmackDown to begin with, they're Raw superstars. Then guess who comes down? Lana and Naomi? Oh shit, they're Raw superstars. Why are they even at the fucking show? Why are they backstage? They're not fucking contracted to that brand. Did they fucking show up just being like, oh, you know what? I have a fucking spidey sense tingling that there's gonna be a fucking brawl between the women in the tag division on this brand. Let's go get involved. It doesn't make sense for them to be there. If it was on Raw, yeah, it makes sense for them to come out. It made sense for Riot Squad to come out. I'm fine with that. Lana and Naomi and then Mandy and Dana shouldn't be there to begin with. They shouldn't. Shayna shouldn't be wrestling a singles match on SmackDown to begin with. Shayna shouldn't be taking a 2-minute roll-up loss to Natalya in 2021, man. Shayna should be at the top of your fucking division, and she's the fucking person who takes the falls to protect somebody who shouldn't be on your fucking roster, full stop. She shouldn't be employed by the fucking pinnacle of wrestling company. It's just such a fucking mess, man. And it's so annoying because they have so much potential in that division. If they would just fucking put effort and thought into it, man. Fuck's sake, what an awful fucking segment. The only upside to that segment was the potential Carmella and Billie Kay teaming. That's it. Then we had Logan arriving for the premiere, then we go to commercial, and when we come back, we go from the worst segment of the night, I think, to potentially the best segment of the night, in my humble opinion. We had the world premiere, red carpet premiere of the trailer of the Conspiracy Theory documentary. Sami introduces Logan Paul. Sami is fucking vibing as he dances to Logan's music. Sami says, thank you for standing by me. You being here legitimizes my claims of a conspiracy. And Logan's like, oh, thanks for having me. I'm excited to see this evidence. And Sami's like, listen, man, we're getting along. We're becoming friends. I don't want to jump the gun, but would you be my guest at Mania? Logan says, yes. Sami looks like he's fucking... Sami had some drip that rivaled Seth Rollins' drip, by the way, so that was dope. Sami looks like he's fucking sweating for like 10 people, brother. I don't know if that's like... If he like wore a lot of layers under the suit to make sure that... Like, I feel like that was intentional. Him sweating that much, I feel like that was intentional, which is a great touch. Then they play the thing. They had the rating at the beginning, which was rated T for truth, so I popped for that. Then they played the thing. I won't do it justice explaining it. All I'm gonna tell you is that it was fucking incredible. It might have been the best thing I've seen in my life. Either the trailer for the documentary. Actually, you know what? The Funhouse match with Cena might be the best thing I've seen in wrestling. Maybe this is a close second to the Funhouse match. But like, it was so fucking good. It was so fucking good. I want like a full length, like hour or 2 hour long documentary to actually just drop on the network or something, because it's just, the trailer was so fucking good, dude. You have no idea how much I popped for that fucking trailer. It was fantastic. Sami popped for it as well. He was going around like, bravo, bravo. Logan, what are your thoughts? He's like, well, it's a lot to take in. It was very compelling, but, Kevin Owens approached me backstage earlier and he said, he's known you for 15 years. You're this and that. There's no conspiracy. And then, Sami's like, Logan, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. Then he says some shit that, and he's like, oh, you know what? I see I can have offended you. Listen, I know what Kevin Owens thinks. I don't care what he thinks. I care what Logan Paul thinks. I just don't want him poisoning your mind. I don't care what he thinks. What do you think? Logan's like, well, you put in a lot of effort. And then boom, Kevin Owens shows up, stuns Sami while Sami's on the ground selling. He's like, this is going to keep happening until you drop this conspiracy thing. And if I can't talk sense into you, I'm going to beat sense into you at WrestleMania. Then he pushes Logan as he gets out of the ring. Logan looked very confused throughout the whole segment. I don't know if that was genuine and they were just like, listen, say this when he asks you this, say this when you ask him this, and then we're not going to tell you the rest, or if it was just him being very good at selling facial expressions and selling being confused. I genuinely don't know, because he looked very confused, which is good because it fits the segment, because if you're somebody who is not involved in this world and you don't watch the product and somebody reaches out, and you know what I mean, and this is your first time experiencing conspiracy theory Sami Zayn, who's on edge because of the documentary, who's sweating buckets, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to be fucking visibly confused, and that was good. So, we had, I think we went to commercial after that, maybe, or we went to Edge and Pierce and Sonya backstage, where Edge is like, listen, man, Pierce, you got a knack for making bad matches. You know, the decision you made last week to make my match a triple threat might be the worst in WWE history, and that's saying a lot. I don't know about that, Edge. There's been a whole lot of awful fucking decisions in WWE history, man. I don't know, dude. But he says, but you know what? The street fight tonight is a good idea. I'm just here to let you guys know I'm going to be on commentary. When we come back, so I think we went to commercial off that. Then we come back, or no, I'm trying to remember, brother. I'm trying to remember. I think, you know what? I think we went right from Kevin Owens' segment, or the Sami and Kevin Owens segment, right to Edge and Pierce. Then we went to commercial after Carmella made her entrance, because Carmella versus Bianca was coming up next. Carmella got her full entrance on Smackdown with the big draped up curtain, I guess, that drops after the silhouette and everything. Perfect. Her music. I really like this repackage, man, and she's getting better in the ring. I would really like to see her hold that title after Bianca holds it for a while. You know what I mean? So maybe like end of the year, maybe Carmella could win it or something like that. I think that'd be nice if they can build her up again for it. So that'd be cool. Or give her the SmackDown, not the SmackDown, the women's tag titles, and actually book those things like you care, WWE, instead of just saying that you did something for a division just to say that you did instead of actually putting in the effort. Graves, I'm pretty sure Graves was nutting, guaranteed on commentary while Carmella was making her entrance. Brother was just repeating, "Oh my god, my god, my god," kind of thing. Brother was nutting. He was back there under the fucking commentary table. Brother was just endless stream of nut. You goddamn know it, brother. You goddamn know he was nutting back there, brother. We heard a man nut on live television, okay? Then we went to commercial. This is a production thing I have a problem with, because I'll tell you what happened. So Carmella makes her entrance for a match with Bianca. We go to commercial. We come back. Kevin Owens is backstage. He gets interviewed by a new interviewer saying, he's like, oh, let me guess, you want to ask why I stunned Sami? Well, you might think, it's because you like doing it. And yeah, that's true, but I did it to send a message to Sami and really to everybody on the roster that I can stun anyone, anytime. Sami attacks Kevin Owens. And then that's the end of that segment. Then we have Bianca backstage in Gorilla, where she's, you have Carmella up next. Are you worried about splitting your focus 8 days away? She's like, well, oh, no, she talked about how, like, with the Sasha stuff, is she worried about splitting her focus after all the Sasha stuff? Then she's like, well, you know what? I was wondering when I would finally get to see the real Sasha, and after I slapped the shit out of her, pretty much, the legit boss showed up, and that's who I've been waiting for, because that's who I want to beat, so there's no excuses. But tonight, I've got Carmella, and I'm not looking past Carmella. I'm just going to go through her. Then Bianca makes her entrance. Then they wrestle for like maybe a minute. Then we go to... No, they don't wrestle, sorry. As Bianca's getting in the ring, Mella attacks Bianca, beats her up outside the ring a little bit, sends her into the steps, then boom, commercial. So Carmella made her entrance, right? I think I just hit my mic, excuse me. Carmella made her entrance. We went to commercial. Commercial's like, what, 3, 4, 5 minutes? We come back. Kevin Owens backstage thing, maybe a minute or two. Bianca's backstage thing, couple minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. Bianca's entrance, then attack for like a minute, and then boom. She was standing in the ring. She made her entrance for a match, and she was standing in the ring, 10 minutes or a little bit more, waiting to get the match underway. And then the match didn't even get underway because she did a heelish thing, which I don't have a problem with her attacking Bianca because she's a heel. Absolutely, try and get an advantage. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the production being like, oh, send one person out for the match, make her wait 10 minutes in the ring for the match, and then send out the other person to start the match. But guess what? We're not going to start it yet because we got another commercial. Like, you could have done it better, man. Just go to commercial immediately after the Edge thing, then come back to Kevin Owens and Sami, then have Carmella come out, then cut backstage to the interview for Bianca, then Bianca comes out, then boom, there you go. You don't have to have Carmella make her entrance and then fucking stand out there for 10 minutes waiting for the match. It interrupts the flow of the show, and it just doesn't really make logical sense why they would do that. But anyways, yeah, man. We then had Bianca winning fairly comfortably. I mean, Carmella did get some offense in, but I mean, clean win for Bianca, which is the right call for sure. I just wish that maybe they would have done it against somebody who is not Carmella, because I think they have a lot of potential with somebody like Carmella in the division. Granted, Carmella isn't really doing much at Mania. She's not really booked for anything, so you can give her a loss and then, maybe start rebuilding her after Mania once you kind of get to that kind of checkpoint, I guess, in booking. And then you can kind of sit back and kind of like regroup and be like, okay, now what do we want to do going towards the next one? Granted, they don't really do that. They're just like, okay, what are we doing today, boss? And then Vince is like, hey, you know what though? I wonder if... Because you know how you hear that Vince writes up what the writer tears up what the writers write and do whatever he wants. I'm wondering, because they don't hire wrestling writers, they hire like TV show writers to write SmackDown, right, and Raw and stuff. I'm wondering if maybe the reason Vince tears everything up is because they don't book long term. So he's like, listen, if you don't care to book long term, then I'm just going to do whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's Vince actually just being like, oh, you guys have all these ideas, I don't want to do it. Or if it's Vince being like, okay, you guys don't care, then I don't care. I'm not going to take your ideas until you put effort in. You know what I mean? I wonder if it's maybe that. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't really know. You know what I mean? So... yeah, man. But anyways, like the match quality, it was too short of a match to really be anything special. But I mean, I think it was fine. Like it wasn't bad at all. It was good for the time that they were given. Sasha then tries to sneak up and bank statement Bianca after, but fails to do so. They stand off for a little bit in the ring, and then Bianca's like, no, not tonight. At WrestleMania, you're going to get yours. Sasha gets out of the ring, and then they kind of talk shit like that. So I like the touch of Sasha getting out of the ring because it kind of puts over that she is a little bit afraid of Bianca, which I think is good. So yeah, man, that match should be good when we get to Mania. Hopefully it main events. The build doesn't really warrant it main eventing, but I mean, Rumble winner. Right, Rumble winner should main event the pay-per-view by default. They haven't stuck to that at all, really, in recent years. I mean, last year they did because Drew, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this shit. Like the first time, I didn't even try and do the accent. I just said it weird, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say it again with the accent, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe I got brain damage, but Drew won the Rumble last year, and then he full send main evented WrestleMania. Becky won the year prior, and she full send main evented. But granted, that was the Charlotte and Ronda spot that Vince was like, "Fuck, she's so fucking over. She's white hot. Maybe the most popular a women's wrestler has ever been in the history of anything. We gotta put her in there." But we're still going to shoehorn Charlotte in there because Golden Child. So, but like the year before that, I can't remember. I don't think the Rumble winner main evented the year before that. But then again, I can't really remember the main event of the year before that. So I don't know. But they don't always main event with the Rumble winner is what I'm saying. So it's not a given that the Rumble winner gets the main event anymore. But yeah. Based on that, Bianca and Sasha should main event regardless of how shit the build has been. In terms of builds, I think there's more hype in terms of build, I guess, around Lashley and Drew. In the sense that Drew is over, and then Lashley's been doing incredible work this year. Granted, Sasha's been doing incredible work this year, and Bianca's over, so it's kind of a similar situation. It's just the build for Lashley and Drew has been kind of shit, but not as shit as Bianca and Sasha's build, I guess. I don't even know what the fuck I started saying this stuff for, though. But yeah, I don't know. That should be a good match, is what I'm saying. That should be a good match right there. So, yeah, man. Then we had an announcement that Corbin is going to face Drew on Raw. Corbin's a SmackDown guy. Fuck off. Stop. Vince, you have 1 million people on your roster. Having one fucking roster for both shows is fucking idiotic. Stop fucking going back towards that concept every fucking time you split the brands, okay? Listen, in 1997, in 1998, in 1999, whatever, when you had like 50 people and they were all fucking hot, yeah, put them all on the roster. Guess what? When you have 1 million fucking people and you only have one unique roster instead of two separate rosters, fucking 90% of your roster is not going used. You're depreciating your own assets that way. It's not even looking at it from like a fan's perspective when we're like, oh, I want this guy to get pushed. Not even looking at it from that way. You have valuable assets, maybe the most valuable assets in the world, and you're letting them depreciate by not using them. And the ones you do use, they're getting depreciated anyways because you're using them incorrectly, Vince McMahon. I don't like interbrand shit. Unless it's building an interbrand match at a fucking interbrand pay-per-view, which all of them are interbrand pay-per-views, which I think they should get away from as well. Because I really like the separate pay-per-views thing because you get to feature your mid and undercard on that pay-per-view so you can build them up and get more eyes on them. Right? So I don't know. I just don't like the interbrand shit, so I don't like Corbin going over to Raw. However, I did like Corbin's promo. Corbin said he was tired of the disrespect. People forget that, he's a king and he creates his own opportunity. So when he heard about Lashley's offer, he took it. He looked at the time on his 45K Paquette watch timepiece. And then he's going to take out Drew, go on to beat the Almighty at WrestleMania, and then everyone will be forced to respect him and bow to the king. I love the douchebag, hey, look how rich I am, Corbin. I like how he's cutting those promos. I like this Corbin a lot. I don't like that he's on Raw on Monday or that he was on Raw this past Monday. I don't like that at all, but I like this direction of his character, the way it's going. I like how he's cutting the promos. So the promo gets a good review or rating or reaction from me. Then we had Apollo immediately after with a backstage promo saying that none of his ancestors ever experienced the disrespect like he did at Fastlane. At Mania, they're going to do it right in a Nigerian drum fight. There's no rules, no limitations, whatever. The only thing you can hear is the sound of beatings, bone cracking so loud that it sounds like drums kind of thing. So he challenges Big E to a Nigerian drum fight at WrestleMania, and then he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship. I liked it. I liked the promo. I like the idea of the Nigerian drum fight because I like how he explained it. Saying that the beatings are going to be so loud that it's going to be as loud as drums, like the bone cracking. Ultra-violent. The feud requires an ultra-violent blow-off feud or payoff match, I guess, at WrestleMania. I'm sold, brother. If they do it respectfully, if they make some fucking comedic fucking joke of a thing that's mocking the Nigerian culture or something like that, then no bueno. But if it's a good match, if it's done respectfully, and if it's just them being fucking violent and beating the fuck out of each other for 20 minutes, like they fucking owe each other money, absolutely. Give me it. Absolutely. I would have preferred an I Quit match. But, unfortunately, they not doing that, brother. No Big E this week, by the way. He had a little advertisement, though, for Snickers where, he was called for his match, and then he was running around backstage trying to find Gorilla, and then he eventually found the curtain for Gorilla, but there was a gate above it, and then he went out of a door, and he went outside, and he got locked out and stuff. It was kind of funny. Nothing to do with the show, but yeah, man. Then we had Edge in Gorilla with Heyman pulling him aside. He's like, listen, we're on the same page here, man. It should have been you and Roman one-on-one at WrestleMania, and that bastard Daniel Bryan got involved, Statistically, mathematically, he lowered Roman Reigns' chances of defending the championship and he lowered your chances of winning the championship. And then Edge is like, listen, Paul, I don't know what you got planned for that triple threat, but I'm going out there for commentary. And then he goes out for commentary. We get a commercial, and then we come back to Jay making his entrance for the Bryan versus Jey Uso street fight at 9:41 p.m. So we got 19 minutes of this main event. Yes, please. Now, I do kind of want to be a bit of an asshole about this match because this is the third time we've seen a Bryan versus Jay singles match in like 5 weeks, right? We had the match that ended in a double countout. We had the cage match, and then now we've had the street fight. I want to be a bit of an asshole about them doing the same match every week. I want to be a bit of an asshole of Jay not winning in like 6 months. It's not been 6 months, but it's been like 3-4 months or whatever. I want to be a little bit of an asshole about that, but Bryan and Jay do such a good job with their matches, and it does a good job of advancing the story, and it makes sense with Roman's character that he's not going to get involved in any matches, so he's going to force his opponent or his lackey to do it for him. It makes sense in the context, so I'm not going to be an asshole about it. They had a good match. Bryan was making his entrance, and he immediately starts attacking Jay, and as he gets in the ring, so they have they start the match off immediately, which is good. I like the intensity from Bryan there. Edge was like kind of unhinged, psychotic, paranoid on commentary, which I very much liked. There was a spot earlier in the match where Jay went and got a chair. Bryan kind of like intercepted him a bit, then he went for a suicide dive, but Jay got a chair up in between the ropes to hit him in the head to block the suicide dive. There was a spot before a commercial real quick where Jay trapped Bryan's leg in the chair and then went top rope for a splash. Bryan moved out of the way, got the chair, beat the fuck out of Jay for a little bit. He rolls out. Roman's music hits. He's coming out with Heyman wheeling out an office chair for him so he can sit at the top of the ramp and watch the match as we go to commercial. When we came back, they had the rest of their match, which was good. The match quality was very good for this match. And then, at some point in the match, Jay had brought out a chain. I will say this. There was a cool moment, which I don't know if it was planned beforehand, or if Jay just kind of made the most of the situation. There was a moment where Bryan and Jay were near Edge on commentary where Edge was saying he's afraid of nobody, and then Jay's kind of like slowly looking over his shoulder and turning towards him because his back is towards commentary. He's like, you should be. And then Edge kind of talks shit to him while he's on comm. I don't know if that was intended. I don't know if they backstage are like, oh, listen, if we get near you and we're doing this stuff, say you're not afraid of anybody so I can do it. Or if Jay just heard it and he was like, oh, this will be good for the story, and then it was improv, because if it was, fantastic work. But Jay had brought out a steel chain at some point in the match. Bryan wraps it around his arm, and then while they're on the ground, elbows the fuck out of Jay with the chain around his arm, so that was pretty good. Then he puts Jay in the yes lock for the win. Then Bryan, as he's celebrating, gets out of the ring and goes and does a running knee to Edge on commentary, picks him up, rams him into the corner post, and then while he's kneeling from that, 1, 2, little bit of a, kind of intense stare / shit talk kind of moment, then one more, so 4 times into the post for Edge. And then he turns his attention to Roman at the top of the ramp, starts making his way towards Roman. Roman gets his office chair and throws it at Bryan, who dodges it. Then he runs, ducks underneath Roman, turns around, boom, running knee. Then he puts in the yes lock on the ramp. Roman passes out after a little bit. Then the refs and, Pierce and the agents come and pull him off. Then Bryan gets in the ring and gets on the top, on the corner there, on the turnbuckle, middle turnbuckle, whatever, doing his yes chants. And that's how we go off the air. So Bryan's not winning at Mania. We knew that before, but the fact that he looked that strong, he's not winning at Mania. He single-handedly decimated Jay with the finish, decimated Edge with the post-match assault, and made Roman pass out with the post-match assault. And then he stood tall over all 3 of them, essentially. They made him look that strong on what's essentially the go-home. He's not winning at Mania. He's not winning at Mania. And in fact, he's taking the fall. he's taking the pin or the submission, whatever happens, he's taking the fall. Absolutely. So, yeah, at least they made him look strong going into it, I guess. But anyways, yeah, the match was great. I like the post-match stuff with Bryan. So overall, the main event was really good. I do want to quickly mention something about Roman Reigns that I really, really like, and I wish WWE would do it more so with the rest of their champions on their roster. If you'll notice something about Roman Reigns, whenever he wrestles, it feels like a big deal because he only wrestles in title defenses, essentially. Right? And I don't think they should do that with every champion because Roman's character is very specific. It's very, hey, I have pull around here. I'm very important around here, so I have fucking leeway to do what I want. I'm only wrestling if I have to defend my title. I'm not doing it any other time. So every time he wrestles a match, it feels important. It feels special because he doesn't wrestle every week. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that they should do a little bit more with their champions. You know what I mean? And again, not do it the Roman way where he only wrestles at the pay-per-view or to defend the title, right? But don't have them in random fucking tag matches every week or something. Just have them cut a promo one week and then be done with it. Or just have them on commentary one week and be done with it. Or just have them do something and be done with it. Because then it kind of makes them feel a bit more special when they actually wrestle. You know what I mean? So I wish they would do a little bit more of that because I feel like what WWE does a little bit too much of is just, oh, we've got to have them in the match. You don't really. You can just have a quick little promo, man. And it doesn't have to be like this 20-minute long promo where you fucking read out a book pretty much in your promo. It can be like a 5-minute thing, just a quick little thing. Hey, this and that, bada boom, bada bing. There you go. Next week I'm going to be back and I'm going to do something similar and boom, boom, boom. And then once you think of something that's meaningful and that you can sink your teeth into for like a feud, then you can have more involved promos. Then you can have a match here and there. But having a champion wrestle every week, non-title kind of thing, I don't know. It's not necessary. You know what I mean? You can do it, but it's not necessary. And again, I don't think they should do the full send Roman Reigns version where it's literally just once a month he wrestles on the pay-per-view. That's it for the title defense, because that is part of his character and it works very well for his character. You shouldn't do that with every champion. But like, for example, Shayna, right? Shayna. She's taking pins every week for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, let the other people in the division have matches instead. You know what I mean? Or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like they make their champions wrestle a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Which again, not a problem per se. It's just I feel like you could make your champions feel a little bit more special if you limit the amount of times we see them in the ring. I'm not talking full Brock Lesnar 2 times a year, by the way, because that's too far. But you know, yeah, I don't know. Just a small thought because I was noticing. You know, I was when Roman sat because like think about what Roman did this week. Roman didn't even have a promo this week, and he still feels so fucking important and so fresh. He had his little backstage thing with Jay before the match without commentary or without audio playing when they were like being like, oh, up next we got this match where he was just like pep talking with him. And then they have him come out and just sit on a chair at the top of the ramp to watch the match, right? And he just feels important. And a big part of him feeling important is that he doesn't wrestle every week. He's not, because like the majority of the wrestlers on the roster, right? They wrestle every week because they have to build their standings in kayfabe. They have to wrestle so that they can get wins and build their standings towards being a champion, right? In kayfabe, that's what you got to do. So if I'm the champion, right? I've done that work to get here. I'm not doing an open challenge, especially as a heel champion, right? Why would I wrestle every week still? I'm the champion. People earn the shot, then I'll get in when somebody's earned the shot. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just, again, you can have them wrestle if you need to. There's no problem with that. It's just, I think that overall it would help make your champions feel important if you don't just randomly put them out there every week. You know what I mean? like what they were doing with Big E for a little while when he would come down to commentary and have his cool setup and shit like that on commentary. That made him feel important. That made him feel big, and he wasn't wrestling random matches every week. You know, I don't know. Just a small thought. Anyways, I liked SmackDown this week, man. I really hated the women's tag division stuff, just because so much of it just didn't make sense. But overall, I liked SmackDown. I think maybe like a 7.5, 7 to 7.5 out of 10 SmackDown for me this week. I enjoyed it. I thought it did a decent job of building up the Mania matches, considering it is essentially the go home show. So yeah, man. Good shit this week. Besides that awful segment again with the SmackDown or the women's tag division. So yeah, man. So 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 SmackDown for me. Let me know what you guys thought of SmackDown down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you rate it higher, lower, or equal with what I rated it? And did you agree or disagree with my statements that I said? Leave that all that shit down in the comments, because I'd like to hear it. It's interesting to hear your guys' opinions. If you want to check out some of the other shit I do on the channel and you're new on this video, you can check out some links at the end cards at the end of the video to some wrestling gameplay stuff that I do, primarily a GM mode on the channel where I book my own storylines in the GM mode. So if you want to see how I'd book wrestling after critiquing wrestling, you can go do that, as well as some more commentary-based stuff as well. If you would like to join the Discord server, link in the description. Follow me on Twitter, link in the description. Please sponsor me PC, obligatory sponsor me gimmick. Be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because YouTube likes to zuck your boy and not put my videos in your sub boxes. So by pressing that nice old bell icon, you will get a push notification anytime I do upload, and you'll never have to miss it. And yeah, man, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, share it with all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit. And I'll see you guys next time.